Here all night.
Right. We're waiting on.
David's training.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order, please. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons.
Here.
Councilmember Jack Sadek.
Here.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Here.
Councilmember McLean.
Here.
Councilmember Reinecker.
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer is absent. Councilmember Zimmer.
Here.
Thank you. Since there's no presentations, recognitions, or introductions tonight, we'll move directly into public hearings.
Public comments.
Public comments?
That's all right.
It's public
Would you-
hearings.
Have any public hearings? No, public comments.
Public comments. Would you like me to read the statement?
Please.
Okay, public comments, 3-minute limit per person. The public comments portion of the meeting is an opportunity for the city council to listen to comments from citizens. It is not a question and answer session, and the city council will not respond to comments or answer questions during this period. The mayor may refer any matter brought up to the city council to the chief administrative officer or city clerk if action is needed.
Thank you. So has anyone filled out a comment card to speak this evening?
Yes, Mayor and Council, we have some public comments. The first one is from Holly Tallier.
Good evening, Mayor Gibbons and council members. My name is Holly Tallier. I'm a Kirkwood resident, and I'm also an elected trustee for St. Louis Community College. But tonight I'm here in my role as a parent educator for Kirkwood School District. For many families, parents as teachers is their very first connection to Kirkwood's broader community. Before a child ever enters any classroom, a parent educator may often have already visited their home, sat on the floor with them, and begun building a relationship based on trust. That early support helps children, of course, but it also helps families feel welcomed and rooted in Kirkwood. Families choose to live in strong, supportive communities, and that benefits everyone, residents, neighborhoods, and local businesses. Parents as teachers contributes to that by meeting families early, helping children build strong developmental foundations, and giving parents confidence in those important first months and years. Parent educators do a bit of everything: child development, early literacy, and parent coaching. But one of our biggest roles is connecting families to the broader community. That might mean pointing them towards a kid-friendly restaurant, a speech therapist, mental health provider, or even a great library program. These small connections help families feel at home here, and that strengthens our city as a whole. Right now, though, we're only reaching about 11% of eligible Kirkwood families. That means that many parents, especially new residents and first-time caregivers, are missing out on support that could really help them. So we're looking for ways to get the word out, and that's why I'm here tonight. We would love to partner with the city through newsletters, community events, local businesses, or any outreach opportunities you think could help. When families know about parents as teachers, they participate. And when they participate, it strengthens our entire community. One important note, Parents as Teachers is completely free for all families. The program supports every child, those developing typically and those experiencing developmental delays. Any family with a child younger than kindergarten age can participate in PAT. If you have any questions or ideas for partnership, I'd be happy to talk further. I brought some materials in my cards over here if you would like those. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Holly. And that's kind of disheartening a little bit to learn that only 11%. David, could we maybe help with that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, reach out anytime. Thanks.
The second request is from Tom Moser.
Again.
We're glad to see you, Tom.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, audience. It seems like this electric department fiasco will never die. I believe that the council or all those involved have overreacted. The first step of problem solving I've always heard is, number one, to identify the problem, not just to see that there is a problem. The second is to find out how much of it is my fault. After that, the problem's a lot smaller. We have lost two dedicated and very good employees in Mark Petty and Russ Hawes, doing their job. And I'm sure that they're not the cause of the problem solely. The problem goes up the ladder, the problem goes down the ladder. Somebody should have been saying to Mark Petty that, hey, your budget's shot for the year. But there again, I sat here and watched the council pass and vote in favor of paying for all those bills for the upgrade of the electric system. So up the ladder is part of the problem also. Now, what is the reserve fund to be spent for or to be used for? Just emergencies? Or is it to be used to prevent emergencies or to even upgrade something in the city? I have seen all too often that the electric company reserve funds have been robbed to pay for projects like KPAC and street department projects and other projects around town. Supposedly a loan, I was told by a former council member. Were these loans ever repaid? I haven't heard that they were. If they haven't been paid, then it was a donation from the electric department or it was downright thievery. I believe that the first step is not to hire a consulting firm. See what the problem is. Do we have anything left in the reserve fund? Good, we don't have to make this a 911 situation and notify the entire nation. We simply see what we've got left, see how we work on it, and it's a simple process without spending any more of the taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Mayor and council, we have no further requests for public comment.
We move to the consent agenda. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Discussion? Questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Consent agenda passes. We have no unfinished business, so we move to new business. And what I'd like to do before we start on the next 10 bills is ask Jonathan Raish to come up and give an explanation about these 10 bills, which is the International Existing Building Code. So, Jonathan, if you would.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So yes, as the Mayor mentioned, the next 10 items on the agenda are to update our building codes to the 2021 International Code Council suite of codes. This is a regular process that the city, the vast majority of cities and even states go through across the country. They update. The ICC is a nonprofit organization that works on building model codes for communities. They do work, research and outreach and listen to comments throughout the country to develop these codes to make sure that they are the latest and greatest for safety standards. And so they update their codes every 3 years. It's common in Kirkwood, we skip a cycle and update every 6 years. So the last time we updated was 6 years ago, and we're here to do that again. The skipping of the cycle just allows us to see how the past code is working and see how it makes sure that there's always tweaks and changes. So we feel more comfortable to not be the first in line or the guinea pig, if you will. But it is a regular kind of maintenance for us to get updated to the 2021 codes. Again, we've been doing this for decades. The ICC has been around since the early mid-90s. It was formed from 3 regional model code groups in the country, and they were all joined together in 1994, I believe. So model codes have been around in some form or fashion since the 1950s. So this is nothing new, but we're ready and excited to get the codes updated. So.
Great. Thank you for
Sure.
that explanation, because I think we'll move through these fairly quickly. So, so Bill 11100.
It's 11099.
Sorry, 11099.
No problem. Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Building Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Building Code, establishing minimum regulations governing the design, construction, alteration, enlargement, repair, demolition, removal, quality of materials, erection, location, relocation, replacement, maintenance, and use of all buildings and structures, provided for the issuance of permits and the collection of fees, and repealing the current building code.
Very good. Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to accept Bill 11099?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say,
I have
Oh.
a question for Jonathan.
okay.
Get input on this from builders or building association?
Yeah, yes. So we did receive, there was outreach earlier this year to the HBA. And then also we received input through individual builders throughout the process. And so we vetted, reviewed that input, incorporated what we can. We did have another meeting this week with the HBA as well. And so we're continuing to hear that input. We'll come to you all and let you know if there's any updates between now and second reading. But yeah, we've continually open to that feedback.
Thanks.
Yes.
Follow up on that, it's a good question. So I did reach out to a couple developers to ask them what their thoughts on this, because I thought there was a couple things in here that kind of, in a day when we're trying to keep costs down for building,
Mhm.
some of these things increase the cost of new housing or even rehabbing.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to them just to ask them their thoughts on it, and they agreed, but they said, we already abide by these anyway.
Yeah.
For various reasons, one of them being legal liabilities, obviously.
Mm.
Yep.
That was my biggest concern, is trying to keep costs down, and we keep on adding to the code.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. The purpose of the codes are for safety. That has to be the focus, right? And so sometimes, unfortunately, that does raise costs. But yeah, understand it's a balance, and we'll continue to get feedback and react as we need to.
Thank you for reaching out to the builders and
Yeah.
getting their input on this.
Yep, no problem.
Anybody else? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11099, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11100.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Existing Building Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Existing Building Code, regulating and governing the repair, alteration, change of occupancy, addition, and relocation of existing buildings, including historic buildings, as herein provided in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees therefore, and repealing the current existing building code.
Do I have a motion and second for first reading approval?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the bill? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11100, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11101.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Mechanical Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Mechanical Code, regulating the design, construction, quality of materials, erection, installation, alteration, repair, location, relocation, replacement, additions to, use, or maintenance of mechanical systems in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees therefore, and repealing the current mechanical code.
Do I have a motion and a second to accept Bill 11101 for first reading approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11101, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11102.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Fuel Gas Code with modifications. The City of Kirkwood Fuel Gas Code, regulating the design, construction, quality of materials, erection, installation, alteration, repair, location, relocation, replacement, additions to use, or maintenance of fuel gas systems in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees, and repealing the current fuel gas code.
Do I have a motion and a second to accept Bill 11102 for first reading approval?
Motion.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11102, say aye. Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11103.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Energy Conservation Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Energy Conservation Code, regulating and governing energy-efficient building envelopes and installation of energy-efficient mechanical, lighting, and power systems in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees, and repealing the current Energy Conservation Code.
Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 11103 for first reading approval?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11103, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11104.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Plumbing Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Plumbing Code, regulating the design, construction, quality of materials, erection, installation, alteration, repair, location, relocation, replacement, additions to, use, or maintenance of plumbing systems in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees, and repealing the existing plumbing code.
Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 11104 for first reading approval?
Motion.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11104, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11105.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Swimming Pool and Spa Code, regulating the design, construction, quality of materials, erection, installation, alteration, repair, location, relocation, replacement, additions to, use, or maintenance of swimming pools and spas in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees, and repealing the current swimming pool code and spa code.
Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 11105 for first reading approval?
I will make that motion. I like swimming pools and spas.
Second.
Would you like to make comments on swimming pools and spas?
Just delighted to have swimming pools and spas.
Should she recuse herself?
So,
I have a 60-year-old swimming pool, so I'm kind of probably out of compliance.
any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11105, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11106.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Private Sewage Disposal Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Private Sewage Disposal Code, regulating and governing the design, construction, quality of materials, erection, installation, alteration, repair, location, relocation, replacement, addition to, use, or maintenance of individual sewage systems in the City of Kirkwood, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees, and repealing the current private sewage disposal code.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to accept Bill 1106 for first reading approval?
Motion.
Move.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11106, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11107.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Residential Code for one and two family dwellings, including Appendix AA, sizing and capacity of gas piping, Appendix AB, sizing of venting systems serving appliances equipped with draft hoods, Category 1 appliances and appliances listed for use with Type B vents, Appendix AC, exit terminals of mechanical draft and direct venting systems, Appendix AE, manufactured housing used as dwellings. Appendix AF, radon control methods. Appendix AG, piping standards for various applications. Appendix AH, patio covers. Appendix AJ, existing buildings and structures. Appendix AK, sound transmission. Appendix AM, home daycare R3 occupancy. Appendix AP, sizing of water pipe sizing. Appendix AQ, tiny houses, as published by the International Code Council with modifications as the residential code of the city of Kirkwood establishing minimum regulations governing the design, construction, alteration, enlargement, repair, demolition, removal, quality of materials, erection, location, relocation, replacement, maintenance, and use of all buildings and structures, providing for the issuance of permits and the collection of fees and the repealing of the existing residential code.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 1107 for first reading approval?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
I do have a quick question. Will this be addressed, I guess, to Jonathan? Section R106.2.4. What you get, Liv?
Sorry, give me a second.
Section again.
I'm sorry, 106.2.4.
Okay,
Right, it talks about, you all will review, before you give permits, and a site plan approval, existing sidewalks repaired to city standards, installation of accessible curb ramps, et cetera. Are all these new items, or are these all currently in the code already?
I believe these are all currently in our code already. This is the 100 is the administration section, so it's places where we put our local requirements into the model codes. So all of this is the current standard of what we
Not
require.
requiring anything additional?
That's
Right, and
correct.
then- And the next section down, 106.2.5,
Right,
the performance guarantee, is that again the same as the current code?
correct.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11107, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. Bill 11108.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code with modifications as the City of Kirkwood Property Maintenance Code, establishing the minimum regulations governing the conditions and maintenance of all existing buildings and structures, premises, and exterior property by providing the standards for supplied utilities and facilities and other physical things and conditions essential to ensure that structures, premises, and properties are safe, sanitary, and fit for occupation and use. The condemnation of buildings and structures unfit for human occupancy and use, fixing penalties for violations, and repealing the current property maintenance code.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 11108 for first reading approval?
So move.
Are there any questions or comments? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11108, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The bill has passed first reading approval. We are now moving on to a different subject. Bill 11109.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance appropriating $50,000 in Blue Shield grant funds into the Police Department Machinery and Equipment Account number 301-02-050-000-000-62040, and in grant revenue account number 301-000-000-000-420005.
Thank you.
A lot of zeros.
Yes. Do I have a motion and second to accept Bill 11109 for first reading approval?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
I do.
Linda?
It looks like now we have this grant revenue account. Is that a new account or, so we're appropriating these funds into two different accounts? How are we? I don't think I've seen a grant revenue account before, so I'm just kind of wondering
Yeah, I think that came through our new grant policy, which council adopted fairly recently. It's a new holding account for grant revenue. So,
so will it be held there? Will it be held in the other? Will it be duplicated? And how will that manage with two different accounts having the 50,000 in?
I think David can get into that.
So essentially, the way that it's, the request here is to actually add in projected revenues into the grant revenue account. So that way it shows up on one side of the ledger in the budget, whereas it's also asking to show up in the expense account. So those two will be tied directly together and be able to be tracked. So it's asking for it to be entered into both sides of the ledger in our budget.
So it's going to go in a revenue account and come out an expense account?
So it's to place the money into the revenue account and then to spend the money through the expense account.
Then it'll be moved from the revenue account into the expense account and then captured there? Okay, is there a system able to do that and not confuse the ones making the decisions here? Again, I don't want to complicate it for those who are figuring out how much they actually have to spend and how much, I mean, I don't want them to have a secondary process to, in their own spreadsheet track money coming and going and spending or not spending.
Yes, essentially, since it's an addition to the additional revenue to the city that wasn't anticipated at the point of the budget adoption, it's gonna amend the budget, so it shows it on both sides.
Okay.
So it doesn't show like an overspend.
Yeah.
And are we doing this now with all grants? I know that was one of the things we had to enhance is our tracking of grants, money and expenditures.
I think the intent is to continue doing this. That is correct.
With any of our grants will come in with both an expense account and a grant.
If they're
revenue.
appropriated post-budget, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor of first reading approval of Bill 11109, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The bill is passed first reading approval. Resolution 111-2025.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement for ambulance services with the city of Glendale for a term beginning January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2028.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to accept Resolution 111-2025 as read?
So moved.
We need a motion.
Motion.
Second on the motion as read first, and then we get into
Oh, okay.
discussion. And
Second.
thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McLean, you may.
I'd like to make a motion or suggest making a motion anyway to amend this. First of all, in the contract itself, Russ, in the agreement itself, and it's in the term section, we had paragraph 2.1. Should be, without my motion, it should be December 31st, 2028.
Mhm.
If I'm correct.
Mhm.
It has 2029, at least in the one I'm looking at.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
So I need, okay, well, my motion is to amend this so it's, it would be effective January 1, 2026, and then through December 31st, 2027. So it'd be a 2-year contract. And it would be terminable with 6 months and not 1 year. And that would also kind of, 6 months I picked because in 2.4, it has a 6-month notice of expiration term. So the 6-month kind of goes along there. And the reason I want to make that motion is, I think the mayor, I talked to the mayor a little bit. She wants to, I think in 2026, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, she wants to look into this whole issue of the ambulance department and where it is and whether or not it's the right thing to do or not. More when for discussion, but I think the 2 years gives us a better time frame than the 3 years. So that's my my motion.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion on the motion, please.
So just a clear point of clarification. So 2.2, if we're to not write out the 2 years, we have to notify them on January 1st that we're going to cancel it by the end of the year. So that would allow us, so if we passed it now, but we really wanted to end it at the end of next year, we'd have to notify them by January 1st. The 6-month is tied to the renewal date.
And I'm suggesting,
So you're doing not the, moving it to a 2-year contract
with the 6-month
with this,
termination,
from the renewal, right?
well, no, so paragraph 2.2 then would be changed also.
That's a,
There'd be a 6 months, we could,
it's a cancellation one. So
cancellation, so for example,
you would change that to 6
so
months?
that would be July 1st.
So that would have to be a change as well. Okay,
Right.
and Glendale's already passed this?
They have.
Yes, so, I don't know what the impact of us making changes on the fact that they've already passed it.
We proposed it to them based on the discussions that were had. And now I guess we would change it again and send it back to them. And that would be the effect.
And they meet again.
I don't know. They're
Doesn't
probably
have
next
to the
month.
First of the year,
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't like it, then we don't, then they go to Abbott.
But if we have two different agreement contracts, neither one of them are approved, correct? And maybe, I don't want to ask the lawyer, but.
It won't be effective until both parties agree to the same.
Okay. So they would have to be notified that we made changes. I mean, I like this shortening. I'm against it anyway, but I do think that given the fact that their meetings, I don't know if they have one still left. The previous contract was a 2 vote. They did not do it a resolution like we do. So
had 2
they would
votes.
have to get 2 meetings in.
Putting that aside, Russ, I don't know what they're voted on, but if they're voting on the agreement that we're looking at, this is, we talked earlier about 3-year, this is a 4-year.
No, it was a scrivener's error and it was adjusted.
That's what we were saying here, but if they voted on this agreement,
They're aware of the scrivener's error prior to the second reading.
well,
So they voted on a 3-year.
don't know that, and so I'm gonna say, I'm gonna vote no for this as it is.
Well, I know it.
I know, but
Okay.
The title page has it
I'll
as
go on the record that they're aware of that.
is December 31st, 2028.
Russ, is this something that we could continue
No,
and bring back
I
up?
wouldn't recommend it. We could, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know why the council sends something to another city to approve and then decides to, on the spur of the moment, just change it.
Yeah.
We've had these discussions. We resolved everything. We sent it to them per the council's direction. And now we're just going to go flip.
well,
Come look at it.
Nancy, where did you see on the cover page it says?
On the title page, under the second whereas mark. The resolution itself is
The first paragraph.
On the resolution, but the Glendale isn't voting on a resolution. Glendale's voting on the agreement. The agreement says
Agreement has
2029.
a year on it.
And so it has the wrong year. And so my point is, I'm not going to agree to this agreement with 2029 in it, despite the fact that maybe they think it's 2028, but hey, look, it says 2029.
Amend it. You could amend the 28 to the 29 to 28.
That's what I'm
which would
saying,
match what-
but then Glendale has to go back to their council and vote on it.
You don't need to.
If you make the
I don't-
other changes.
I don't think
the
the
other
discussion ever talked about a 4-year contract.
I don't
It
know
was
that.
a
I don't know
3-year
what they
contract.
had. I don't go to Glendale's meetings.
Well,
They were of understanding that it was a 3-year and it had a scrivener's error on their second.
Maybe. Well, anyway, back to my motion. I'm in favor of the 2 years to give us time. And I know the mayor wants to look into this more going into 2026, because we have bigger issues with the ambulance, with the staffing and all those areas. And this would, when we have budgetary issues too, so that's the other reason why I want to.
Mark, can I just get some clarification? Are you still wanting to leave in your motion amendment to include a 6-month expiration and a 6-month cancellation term?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
just making
yeah,
sure.
So for clarification then, paragraph 2.1 be changed December 31st, 2027. 2.2 would be changed to written notice to Glendale of its intent to cancel no later than 6 months, let's see,
July 1st.
July 1st of, well, not even that. No, I'd just say any 6-month period. Just, yeah, any 6-month period, whether it's,
6 months preceding the cancellation date.
yeah, so it's a 6-month termination provision. So we get into this in November, and 11 months from now, we realize, hey, this is not a good deal.
Notice.
This is a 6-month notice to terminate. Yeah.
Notice.
Hey, Mark, I did know, sorry, Councilmember McLean, I did check their agenda. Their agenda as passed reflects the date of December 31st, 2028. So what they accepted
I'm on the record.
had
for
the
that.
switch to the 2028.
So we'll update ours to reflect that
Mhm.
and include the cancellation 6 months.
It's still.
No, he still wants it to
Yeah.
2027.
Yeah, 2027.
Oh, the 2020, okay, oh, yes, I agree, I agree.
Okay.
Then the 6-month notice to terminate.
Okay, so is that also under 2.2? Just so I have it right in my notes here.
2.2 and
2.2 will
2.4.
be changed. Kirkwood may in its sole discretion cancel this agreement with, and I'll let our legal team mess with it, but cancel this agreement with 6 months written notice.
So 2.1 and 2.2 are
Right?
the
And
second
then,
order.
and I'll go, and then 2.3, to be fair, I'd say Glendale may in its sole discretion cancel this agreement with 6 months written notice.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Litza.
With all due respect, I do not think it's a good idea. We've been back and forth with Glendale for many weeks, if not months, trying to come to a deal that we both sides agreed to. We're talking about ambulance services, not some frivolous something or other. There is a clause that either side can cancel with due notice. I don't see the point of now changing something that they have already approved. I mean, we could always, you guys always in the future could look into this further, consider whatever, and I would assume that you're gonna do all this due diligence anyway in looking at, is this program working? Is it, mutually beneficial?
I don't
I
disagree.
just think that this is it's too much of a last minute change of things. Now they're gonna, it's gonna have to be sent back to them. I mean, I thought we had already,
Been discussed, and your points are valid, but I don't want to, the problem is we get these thrown at us late in the game, and now we have it's basically a 1-year cancellation notice. So if we find out, if we look into this a little bit further and we find out this really isn't favorable to us as we think it is, so that means for another whole year, we have to live with it, even though it's not favorable to us. And I'll give you an example. Glendale has a contract with Warson Woods. Glendale contracts with Warson Woods to provide their ambulance. Sir, does Glendale get paid for that? If so, how much how are they benefiting from this? Tina's going to present some numbers to us that are going to blow people away. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know I'll never get tired of saying it. The numbers she looks into, I appreciate it so much. And I know his council does too. But it'll blow us away. And are we being taken advantage of or not? Glendale could be making money on this. They could be charging Warson Woods more than what we charge Glendale.
well,
Seeing as we're not charging Glendale, if they,
Well, that's,
No.
okay. So therefore, if Warson Woods pays Glendale money, then Glendale's making more money on this than we are. Glendale contracts with Warson Woods. Warson Woods pay Glendale money? I don't know the answer to that. Sure, it's public information, but I don't know the answer to that. And I'm all for doing this because we need the revenue. With budget's tight, I get that. We're going to have expenses increasing. Next year's revenues are stagnant. We have the senior property tax freeze. We have some serious issues facing us next couple of years. And so revenue is very, very important to me. But I also want to make sure that we're not being taken advantage of, and that, as Gina's going to say, we represent our taxpayers appropriately. I think a 2-year agreement, or if maybe we keep it 3 years with a 6-month termination provision. I mean, that still gives us 6 months to terminate.
So are you changing your motion?
No, I'm throwing this out for discussion. I know I'm kind of ahead of myself on this, because I want this to pass. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not. But I want it to be favorable to the citizens of Kirkwood and to this council, and not more favorable to Glendale. Maybe I am changing it to keep it 3 years, but move it just to 6-month termination, if that's more palatable to you, Nancy.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that change. I'm still wondering the whole mechanics of it, that Glendale has already passed first and second reading of the agreement as is, which I thought we were all good with,
Not all.
except for Gina. And I don't think you would vote for it no matter what was happening unless suddenly they were paying us millions of dollars.
Considering they pay nothing, yes,
Um,
some would help.
I just, what is now changing the agreement mean to the agreement? I thought we need to get something nailed down by the end of this year. And
What if we don't? What happens if?
well,
if-
then I'm not sure what Glendale's going to do for ambulance service.
I would suspect they would probably continue to rely on us until they can pass it or not pass it, and we would probably move forward under the current scenario.
I mean, I don't know if that's maybe a best practice of handling things properly, but,
Pause, you have any?
I think it's incredibly disingenuous of this council to send a
I'm not asking
document
that
to
question.
some.
I'm asking you.
Oh, I thought you
if
were
we just
asking my
terminate
opinion.
it, if we do not pass this tonight, or if we amend it the way I'm suggesting it,
Okay.
goes back to Glendale. And so December
They have to
3rd.
take 2 readings, then they won't have ambulance service post December 31.
So the current contract does not allow any sort of,
We've terminated it. We won't have, this is what I mean by disingenuous. We shouldn't send them a contract for them to approve. It makes the council and the city look like hacks. I will give you my opinion on that. We don't want to look that way.
unless we're being taken advantage of, and then we look like cats.
We've already determined that we weren't being taken advantage of by vote.
I'm still,
I mean, that's my opinion.
okay, call me naive and still learning on the job. But I'm coming to find out there's things that we pass that maybe I didn't ask the right questions, and I apologize.
No, that's fair. You don't have to apologize. I'm just saying the way,
It
puts them in a very difficult position. You asked Mike, what would happen if we send it back to them? It puts them in a very difficult position because they don't have ambulance post December 31.
can I put on a same motion or a separate motion that if this is voted on to change this the way I'm suggesting, that City of Kirkwood then would agree for the month of January to continue the service under the current contract?
That's a legal question. I don't know. We terminate the original contract.
I do not believe you can, but the city could voluntarily continue to do it.
What's it take for the city to voluntarily call up Glendale and say, listen, these hacks on council decided to make these changes, but
Well, let me make part of my problem with the thing overall. Glendale is paying us nothing to run an ambulance. So if we continue to provide the service in January, we'll continue to get the same amount of money, which is nothing.
It's
And then
not nothing.
it is.
It's
No, it's not.
$173,000.
There's no, the city does not pay anything. We, as the provider, have the chance of getting money from the insurance companies. So whether we have a contract, if we run an ambulance from Webster, we still can bill for the insurance. If we run one out of De Pere, we still can bill the insurance. That is not tied to this contract. The contract says we just get exclusive rights to lose money, but that's besides the point. There is no financial money in this contract. So if we don't sign it, we could just voluntarily continue to service them for nothing. The other alternative is, but we don't have another meeting that this probably could happen, but is to immediately cancel the contract and revisit this over the year and give them and us the chance for a year. But we can't count on having full support for that either. So again, I mean, we get nothing from them for this council, so we can continue to give free service away.
Clarify that, Gino. We get nothing from the city of Glendale, but we do get money from the
insurance companies.
from the residents' insurance companies.
Right. The
And-
same thing from De Pere and Oakland, everybody
And that
else.
revenue is Mayor, $170,000.
Right, so we would still get it without this contract.
If they use our service.
If we provide our service.
Only if we provide the service.
Send it, but they could get somebody else's ambulance over.
And I believe we provide a much superior ambulance service than Abbott would ever.
Oh, yeah, but that's why it's free is really a nice deal.
And that's why it goes back to my 2 years and kind of 6 months. That way we can have some open discussions with them.
Right, and not that it's part of the motion, but part of the contract too, the 1.7 references 3.6. And this was just a cut piece. This contract was embedded in the dispatch contract, and the 3.6 does not match what 1.7 says. So, I don't know if that makes that statement null and void or whatever, if it's just a numbering problem, but there's a problem in there too.
I think we go back to the initial question. If the contract is terminated effective December 31st, 2025, we now go back to Glendale with a different contract. So there will be no agreement in place as of January 1st, 2026.
My understanding, correct.
So, Jackie, maybe we could do it orally. What's the conversation?
That we could pass the bill as it's read, give them notice on January 1 that we're canceling, and that we'll then have that year to.
We'll have a year to look at the issue. Yeah.
Miss Jackie.
January 1st, we cancel it. We give them notice.
That sounds, that I think covers it's the same point.
So do you want to withdraw this motion? And we can just put on the record that's.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the other options, so that we don't look quite as not together as a council, that we pass it, and in a year, we say, we're giving you notice.
But that means we have to know we're going to have an agreement to cancel it.
Well, it's in the,
No, but I mean, we have to have a majority to agree to cancel it.
that's true.
Oh.
Right. That's true.
I agree with Mark. We need to out once and for all.
Well, then, if it's a lot cleaner to do it the way, the way.
Four of us.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Councilmember McLean, do you want to withdraw your amendment? Your motion?
No, I want to keep that motion, and we'll see if it passes. If it doesn't pass, then we'll try a different motion, the one
Okay.
that you guys suggested.
Okay, so any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Nay.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have clear. Do I have in favor Reinecker, Jack McLean? Opposed, Zimmer, Mayor, Letzow.
It fails.
Fails. Mm-hmm.
Second motion, do you want to make the,
Well, I want to talk about mine.
well, I want to make a motion then
Go ahead.
that we make a motion that we accept this contract as is. And make a kind of in this part of the same motion that we terminated effective January.
You can't do that.
It's not an amendment
Yeah,
to it, so I don't.
It's just a motion to pass right now.
yeah,
Either passes or it doesn't.
okay.
And when you get the votes together to terminate it, you do it.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
Yes, I have a
Okay.
lot. Did you?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for you.
I'm ready for mine. Again, this is a contract I've been working on for a year plus. And the original one was embedded in the dispatch contract. And because we've had a lot of conversations around it, it did get pulled out to be a separate contract, which gives us an opportunity to talk specifically about this one. One of the biggest challenges in both being on the council and no doubt for our residents is to really get cost information. How much do services cost? How much do we spend? The nice thing about the ambulance issue is that we file annual Medicaid cost reports that detail out cost. And this contract started, we're at the end of 5 years. I have 4 years of cost report, actual EMS data that was reported to the state. And when you report information like that to the state, it better be accurate, verifiable, and make sense. So it gives us the clearest picture, I think, of what our true ambulance costs are. Now, the 4-year total was $812,989.15. We even got it to the 15 cents. I wasn't able to get this current cost report. David shared that the company that's files it on our behalf has asked for an extension, but pretty much you can add another $6 million. So over the last 5 years of this contract with Glendale, Kirkwood residents have contributed over $30 million towards ambulance services being available. The Glendale contract, the city of Glendale with their partner city Warson Woods has contributed $0. Now, you're going to hear, but we get the revenue from the ambulance transports. That means, yes, we get that whether it's mutual aid, whether we're in pair. And so when that Kirkwood ambulance drives by your house, goes to Glendale, Warson Woods, you can count on us maybe getting $500 or $600, $700 from the insurance company. Now, granted, depending on the numbers, and we don't wish our neighbors ill, but the only way we get money is if they get transported to the hospital. Now, we can raise our rates all we want, but most insurance companies, including our Medicare program, has the max allowable. And you can't charge resident, non-resident beyond that allowable. Obviously our Medicaid population is not going to be charged either. That difference between what's covered and what is not. So trying to get how much revenue the Glendale actually has brought into it. Again, it's kind of hard to tell because it's by zip code and blah, 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 but maybe $100,000 a year contributed to our budget, which with a $130 million budget, I don't know how much that really props us up. So I'm telling you, 30 million plus, the city pays nothing. Insurance companies, yes, we get that. There is this contract, whether it's for 2 or 3 years, under the same great terms. They pay nothing, Kirkwood residents pay it all. And others, insurance companies, granted, throw us a few little dollars. And again, when one of our ambulances travels to another community, it's out of service for Kirkwood residents and your guests in our businesses. The interesting thing in this contract to me is it's a one-sided contract. I mean, I've never seen where Kirkwood has all the obligation and Glendale has little. The most, noteworthy is not only do we get to cover all the services, they get to hold metrics. They get to hold us to a standard. And the metrics are, we shall respond to emergencies originating from Glendale or Warson Woods within 9 minutes or less, no less than 75% of the time. And we have to respond within 12 minutes or less, 100% of the time. It's kind of hard to hit 100% success, but don't worry, they gave us a caveat. If their fire truck, similar to our fire truck, which are staffed with ALS, advanced life support capabilities, if they arrive first, the clock stops. So since the fire truck in Glendale is closer to the Warson Woods, they will cover us and stop that clock so we don't miss our metrics. Overall, I'm not really sure I'm comfortable calling this a contract. I'm not sure I see any benefit for the taxpayers and residents of Kirkwood. I have done a little conversations with lawyers, and I've been told that in contract law, lawyers call this a consideration. I just don't see what the people of Kirkwood are getting in return for us giving the residents of these neighboring cities $30 million of services supporting from our tax bills, especially since the city of Kirkwood right now is facing challenges with our own budget and our challenges with our resources to better manage much needed services to our residents and to support our city employees. In addition to the fact the arrangement is costing us money, it seems to be increasing the risk exposure of the city, employees, and residents for actions happening outside of Kirkwood. I'm not sure of the full extent of governmental immunity or our insurance or to actions by the city of Kirkwood outside our limits. But if an ambulance has an accident in Glendale or Warson Woods, who'll be responsible for the damages, Kirkwood's personnel, ambulance equipment? I don't see in there any indemnity or hold harmless clause for Glendale for the benefit of Kirkwood. It just seems to be another kind of flaw in the contract. So it looks to me that Kirkwood could be having to deal with all the issues that come out of an unfortunate incident in Glendale, Warson Woods, and have to solely deal with the consequences, including paying for lawyers to defend us, taking care of our injured employees, paying for new ambulance, the list goes on and on. Glendale and Warson Woods just gets to say it's Kirkwood's problem. How does increasing the risk exposure of Kirkwood benefit the citizens of Kirkwood? How does giving away EMS services for free to other cities benefit the citizens of Kirkwood? And thank goodness their insurance company will be giving us money. How does taking an ambulance out of service for Kirkwood residents benefit Kirkwood or their citizens? I've been at the table during all these discussions, and to tell you the truth, we were very late in really getting an opportunity to talk about it. I am not coming into this with any illusion that this is going to fail, because as Russ indicated, there was a lot of agreement going along. I was pretty consistent. Let me say I was always consistent in my opposition. And I think now that we're in the 12th month of this renegotiation of contract, we find ourselves in quite a pickle. I've been a consistent no, will stay a no on behalf of the hardworking, tax-paying residents, businesses, and our guests here in Kirkwood. And again, this is similar to my concerns with dispatch. At least with dispatch, these cities contributed some money. The cities do not contribute a dime. Thank you.
Additional comments or questions?
I want to add something. I called up the mayor of Glendale and suggested that the city of Glendale contribute to this. And he said, we're not going to pay a penny. Charge the Glendale residents if you want to charge us. Because what you didn't point out, Gina, is If an ambulance goes to somebody's house, revives their heart, and the guy says, I'm fine, I don't want to go anywhere, we don't get anything. Zero, so,
There,
I mean,
yeah, there's no
these things,
there's no billing for treatment in place, or if they refuse. Mhm.
not a very good deal.
But we directed our staff to present them with a contract, and now we're at the
Right,
point
that's
where we
okay.
need to vote on our contract, so. Nancy?
I don't know what to say. I mean, I've already said how I feel about this. This is, we have fixed costs with or without this contract. These help offset our costs. We raised the rate that we plan to, bill non-residents for, transport. So that would help, increase revenues providing this service. I mean, all of Kirkwood and surrounding municipalities collaborate in providing public safety services, police and fire, EMS through mutual aid, automatic aid. Other municipalities come to our aid when we're unable to cover whatever emergency is ongoing. We do that for them. Over the years, there's always been debate over, oh, Kirkwood, it's costing too much of the Kirkwood taxpayer. It's millions of dollars, as Gina said. The cost of equipment, capital expenses are only increasing, and they've skyrocketed in the past few years because of COVID and supply chain issues and now tariffs and all of that. It's hard to nail down the cost of, exactly the cost of public safety. If we really want to fix the problem, as I suggested in a work session, we should look at, creating a fire district, an ambulance district, and then have members and we all look at, the costs and expand our coverage and look at the capital, look at the operating expenses. But that's something that would have to be imagined now to be realized in 4 or 5 years, probably, if we could, come up with some sort of, program that's acceptable. I, I just, we've already agreed on this, to pull the rug out from under Glendale. And, I just think it's not a good idea. It's not like we're not getting revenues for providing ambulance service. We do bill them, and according to staff, we recover at least 50% of the bills that are sent to those who are transported to the hospital. I mean, it's not negligible. If there really were this much opposition, I really feel like we should have brought this up weeks ago. I know Gina has always had issues with this. I mean, the revenues from this, well, I guess they do go into the general fund, but our public safety they're not enterprise funds where we're trying to make money. Yeah, we want to try and recover our costs as much as possible. How much do each of us pay in our taxes to pay for public safety? It's no small amount of money, but fortunately, I've only had to dial 911 once. I don't know how you put I don't really know how you can put this in these terms. And yeah, we are the stewards of city resources and all of that, but I think, we've come up with what we thought, staff came up with what we thought was, a mutually agreeable contract. And I just feel like changing it at the 11th hour is unfair to Glendale, their city council, as well as their residents, to suddenly, I don't know, I just think it doesn't put us in a good light. And I think if we pass this as is, take a look at it again, and if you guys are really intent on, canceling it by January 27, it would give them plenty of time to find, or whichever January, plenty of time to find, alternative service. I don't think it's a good idea. Sorry.
Thank you. I think we should probably pass it as well. And then we can take a look at Councilmember LeClain.
But when I'm looking at this, my number one issue is response time. I don't really care about the costs. It's response time from the time I make the call to the time they get to me or get to wherever they're going to. You know, every second is valuable. That could save someone's life. That's number one. Number two then is obviously the money then. And so my first concern when we first started looking at this is response time. I live on the eastern side of Kirkwood, and I can't tell you the number of times I see ambulances driving down Adams Road, going to Glendale. So I'm always concerned about the response time there. All right. I did some investigation, talked to the chief. He said it doesn't affect you one bit, but one iota. That gave me some assurances. We have 3 ambulances here in town, and which is good, and we have the capacity to offer these services. Gina's not quite as dire as Gina believes it is. I don't think so. We're going to if we pass this, we're going to raise upwards of 200,000, maybe a little more this coming year. That's after our expenses. That's after depreciation on the equipment. That's after the medical equipment that they use for the tape or whatever it is. That's $200,000 more than we would have otherwise. It doesn't affect our capacity. It doesn't affect the response time. And the response time for Kirkwood is about 5 minutes and 35 seconds, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well under the national average.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure we keep that under all circumstances and continue. But because we're getting 200,000 in revenue, we're actually, in my mind, we're reducing the cost to the Kirkwood residents. And that's why I'm in favor of this going forward, but I do want to take a hard look at it, I think, as the mayor does in 2026 going forward to make sure that this really is good of a deal for Kirkwood as we've been led to believe.
More discussion, more questions?
Just a couple more comments. One, I believe mutual aid is something that we will always have. This is not a mutual aid issue. This is a contract service. It's not a mutual aid. I do believe that our police and fire all need dedicated resources, financial, to do their job here in Kirkwood. The $200,000 in revenue, that's a new number for me to see, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out if this passes. And again, the cost is staggering to the residents of this city. The response time is kind of one of those cute data points because again, as long as a fire truck, everybody goes, why does a fire truck respond when an ambulance responds? Well, the fire truck turns off the timer. So, again, they're equipped to handle, but if the fire truck's the first one there, that time gets turned off. So again, we can watch the data, but how many times is the fire truck, and doesn't everybody kind of go, why does the fire truck always show up when an ambulance? Well, it's because that's who gets there first is important.
Let me turn the tables a little bit. What are the expenses that's costing the Kirkwood resident? You say this is costing the Kirkwood residents money. What expenses is this?
With the $30 million we're putting in to have ambulance EMS services available to us.
To Kirkwood?
To Kirkwood. We
Okay.
support, and that's whether we use them or not, I hope never to use them. We also know that the ambulance has been, now we do 2.5 staffing because we know what the fire department staffing. So we used to staff pretty consistently 3. We now staff 2.5. You take 1 ambulance out of Kirkwood, we're hopeful to have 1.5 still being able to I just like having ambulances available.
That's,
And we
that's,
used to-
I- that-
I know, and we used to be able to get, when we first went to 3, Tom, they provided how many times was there excess calls and we didn't have coverage for it and all that. We don't get that kind of data anymore. So really knowing use and use all at the same time, some of that. Again, I just go to the pure numbers. We contribute $30 million over 5 years. They contribute. Could you imagine if Webster and Crestwood and everybody goes, gosh, let's come to Kirkwood because they give it away. And again, I know that's, pie in the, but again, I think to be fair to our taxpayers, we ought to look at serving Kirkwood.
Spend $30 million, I get that. You say that we are then expending money on Glendale. It's gonna cost us $30 million whether we have Glendale or not. We're not losing any, we're not getting rid of any expenses by losing Glendale. That's the issue. It's just overcapacity. So it's not costing us, in my mind, it's not costing us money to service Glendale because we already have all these fixed costs.
Again, you can, you can play around with it. The actual, per the Medicaid cost reports, the cost of running a transport in the last 5 years was anywhere between $2,600 and $3,000. So even if we look at the cost of their transports, and their insurance, we're getting maybe $500 or $600. Every transport, not the ones we don't service, but every transport we do out of those costs per the cost report cost us $2,300.
Those costs comprise.
Well, it's the cost that the city assigns to running an ambulance department.
Okay, and that's salary?
Oh, it's all kinds of things. I've
Okay,
got,
so
I've got
it's fixed costs is my point.
well, there's all kinds of costs in there. If you
So
have,
I'd like that breakdown. Those are things I'd like more of. That's why.
I've got the full cost
So I
report.
think that's all fixed costs that we're gonna have regardless. The only variable costs are the medical tape and the.
But we're covering those anyway. So we don't have to make any adjustment to our staff because we already cover those.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call for the question.
Mhm.
And we need to take a vote on calling for the question. Okay. All those in favor of calling for the question, say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Second.
okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Was this?
Calling.
Calling the question.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine with it. That's a yes.
Okay, okay. I guess everybody's.
All yes.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
now. Okay. Now we're going to take a vote on the resolution. Roll call, please.
Sorry. Mayor Gibbons?
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek?
No.
Councilmember Litzo?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker?
No.
Councilmember Zimmer?
Yes.
The resolution has passed. Okay, that was lively. Now we are going to go into city council reports, and I get to report something I think is so exciting. So today, we got a Route 66 sculpture installed down on Kirkwood Road, right at Argonne. It's a great big 12-foot high, 11-foot wide sculpture. The sixes are cut out, so it's an active sculpture where people can put their heads in or even lay in it and what have you. We are going to have a commemorative ceremony tomorrow of receiving this. We actually received it from a grant from the Route 66 Commission, the State of Missouri Commission. That commemorative ceremony will be at noon. I hope that people will come and get a chance to take pictures with the sculpture and what have you. So we're pretty darn excited to have that added to our streetscape in Kirkwood.
And this is in commemoration of 100 years?
Yes, thank you.
Of
Nancy.
Route 60, of Highway 66,
Yes,
right,
right.
that stretches from Chicago to
Monica.
Santa Monica,
Yeah.
wherever.
Came through
I
Kirkwood.
know the
for-
song, but I can't.
Yeah,
think of, like,
came through
the
Kirkwood
date.
for part of its route, for part of the time. Yep, yep. So we're pretty excited. Other council reports. Okay. Chief Administrative Officer report.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any reports at this time.
Okay, all right. City Attorney report. Okay, City Clerk report.
Yes, Your Honor. I have the report of last night's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The following action was taken. By a vote of 8-1, the commission recommended approval of a staff-initiated zoning code text amendment related to the adoption of a planned multifamily residential district, R7. And by a vote of 9-0, the commission recommended approval of an application from Double Eagle Development for a zoning map amendment B2 to R7 at 345 South Fillmore Avenue and 336 and 340 South Taylor Avenue. Both of these items need public hearings before the city council, and those will be scheduled for January 8th, which takes me real quick, even though I'm sure you'll announce it at the next December 18th meeting. But since I'm mentioning January 8th as a reminder to the council and public, because of the New Year holiday, the first Thursday of the month next year, which would normally be a council meeting, we have moved our January meetings by 1 week. So January 8th will be our first, so it's just by 1 week. So we've adjusted those. So that's why it's
Thank
that
you.
date.
Thank you. Very good. All righty, seeing no further business, our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on Thursday, December 18th. This meeting is adjourned.
After at least the